So I decided to do this video today because I feel like it's holding a lot of people back in their lives. I didn't even know that I would end up doing this video today, but something happened that made me realize that, you know what, this is a serious issue that a lot of people are facing in silence and it's probably not being talked about enough. So I'll give you the background story. So I was with one of my clients and they wanted to get a remote job but was struggling with how to go about it. So we looked through a couple of jobs and there was one particular job that she really liked. And it looked like she had all the experience for the job. So, I said to her, okay, well, apply for this job and let's see what happens. And it's what she said to me that kind of really fascinated me. She, first of all, immediately shut it down and said, oh, they would never hire somebody like me. I don't have a degree. Now, bearing in mind that on the job description, it didn't say anything about requiring a degree. So it wasn't that was the issue. And it kind of made me pause for a minute because I was thinking, here is someone that is definitely qualified for the position, but she's immediately shut down this job because she automatically feels like she's not good enough because she doesn't have a degree. And it just made me think, how many other people are doing that? They're literally stopping themselves from getting good jobs that they're capable of doing, or not even in the job world, in other aspects of their life, for example, just because they are not a degree holder. Anyway, fast forward. So after a lot of mindset coaching and interview coaching on how to pass interviews, she ended up landing that job that she thought that she could never get, that was out of her reach. She's now doing that job in the tech industry and she's killing it. And she would have never taken that leap if nobody told her that you're just as worthy for this job, even if you don't have a degree. So what am I getting at here? The point that I'm getting at is that there are people out there that have a feeling of failure because they do not have a degree and somehow feel less than people that have, let's say, gone to university. And because of that, they're self-sabotaging. They're sabotaging their own life in various aspects because they have this very dangerous mindset. And a lot of the time, I think this is influenced by societal norms or cultural norms, for example. In society, sometimes people that have degrees are considered to be more successful, right? They're more likely to get the better jobs, the higher income, things of that nature, which is true. Yes, there is some truth to that. A degree can open a lot of doors for you in terms of jobs. But that doesn't mean that if you don't have a degree, you are not open to, similar opportunities as that. And not only from that aspect, I think sometimes culturally, it can play an impact within how somebody sees themselves if they don't have a degree. So for instance, I know that in a lot of African and Asian cultures, having a degree is a serious achievement, and if you don't have that, you are it's not a good thing in these cultures, and it's like a serious disappointment, I would say. I've seen that a lot, and sometimes it's not even just having a degree, it's the subject that you're having a degree in that's important. Like even doing something like art or something creative is not really considered important to them. So I know that that's the case in a lot of like African and Asian cultures. even goes to the point where I know sometimes they make a joke about it. I know in African culture, you know, if your child is not a doctor or a lawyer, it's just like, what are you doing with your life? And so, you know, if you've grown up with this mentality and being taught that, you know, a degree determines your sense of worth, then it can be very detrimental when you don't have a degree. And what I've found usually happens in circumstances like this, where somebody doesn't have a degree, it seeps into a lot of areas of their life. And I'm not just talking in terms of, you know, the job side of things. In other areas, even relationships, sometimes they might feel like they're less intelligent than their partner, and that might lower their self-esteem because, let's say, their partner has a degree and they don't, or if they're around people that have degrees, they feel less than. So, you know, there's that as well. Sometimes they can end up feeling like the black sheep in the family if all of their siblings have degrees and they don't, especially in cases where they're constantly being compared to their other siblings who are seemingly more successful. It can have very damaging consequences on somebody. So I'm here to tell you that you are not a failure if you do not have a degree. You are just as worthy as any other person who has a degree or has a doctorate or has a master's, and you are just as capable as being successful, if not even more successful than somebody who holds a degree. I think the important thing that you have to realize here is that success is relative. Okay, so you might be walking around thinking that you're not successful because, let's say, society has told you that, you know, you can't do certain things, or you can't get to a certain level if you haven't got a degree. But yet somebody, let's say in another country, is probably looking at you and you're their idea of success because, you know, you live in a house, you know, you have a steady income coming in, you have a family, whatever it is, they might consider that their dream and their success. Whereas you're looking at somebody with a degree thinking that's a success. The person holding the degree is probably looking at the entrepreneur driving the private jet thinking they're at success. So success is relative, and there's not only one type of success in life. There's not only one type of life path. So, you know, there's a number of ways in which you can be successful. And wouldn't it be boring if everyone followed the same path to be successful? And to me personally, success is when you are somebody that's constantly working on themselves to better themselves. I think the only time that you become a failure is, and I don't even like using that term, but let's just use it for the basis of this video, but the only time you become a failure is when you give up on yourself, when you completely give up on, you know, bettering yourself. You've just allowed life to happen to you, rather than, you know, you taking it by the horns and, you know, doing the best that you can with your life. I think that's the part that makes you become a failure, when you give up on yourself. Not the idea of whether you have a degree or don't have a degree. I really don't think that plays a role into it. And I know a lot of people will probably say, oh, well, you know, it's easy for you to say that, you know, you have a degree. Yes, I do have a degree, but I've also been amongst people with some of the most brilliant minds that have never been to university. You know, I've helped people get jobs that even graduates are not able to get, that don't hold degrees. So I don't think it plays that much of a role as people make it seem. Also, before I go any further, if you are someone that's currently job searching right now and find that you are constantly being rejected and not getting accepted for any interviews, it is not because you're not capable of doing the job, and it's not because you don't have a degree or whatever other reason that you're thinking. Most commonly, it's due to low self-confidence. and it's not convincing the employer that you can handle the job. So I have a free webinar teaching you how to exude confidence at the interview in order to wow employers and land that job offer. I'll leave the link below. Okay, so let's get back to the job side of things now. So as I mentioned earlier, not having a degree does not stunt you from the level of jobs that you can acquire or how far you can get in your career. It simply depends on choosing a career that does not require a degree, and there's plenty of jobs and industry out there that don't require having a certain degree. Now, I will be doing another video on the types of jobs that you can get without a degree, but yeah, that will be in another video. The other avenues that you can take instead of getting a degree in order for you to do the jobs that you really want to do is there are a variety of ways. For example, you can do a trade school, so where you go to a certain school to learn a particular trade, so that after you've learned that trade, I think after that you can get a diploma or a certificate, and then you can go on to do that job role that you want to do. Another way is to take on an apprenticeship. So with the apprenticeship, yes, the pay is lower, but you gain very valuable experience, hands-on experience, and it's that experience that employers will see you as desirable, right? I can even argue that having experience sometimes even outweighs having a degree to employers because it shows that you are capable of doing the job. So getting an apprenticeship and getting that hands-on experience is very essential for, you know, getting that job that you truly want. Or you can decide, especially in today's world where, you know, many people are making it with different avenues that don't require using a degree, you can decide that you want to set up your own company. Maybe you have a certain passion, you have a certain skill, and you want to set up your own company where you can offer that as a service. There's so many avenues that you can do that can make you successful that don't require, you know, a degree. So I hope that has helped you or convinced you that you are just as capable and the world is your oyster. And as long as you work on yourself and you set goals, you can get the job that you want to get. You can have the life that you want to have, and it does not require a degree. So that brings me to the end. I hope that you have found that helpful. For those of you that don't have a degree, I hope this has given you some motivation to carry on in your life in a more positive way. And if you guys have any comments of your experiences of, you know, not having a degree and how it's affected you, please let me know below. If you have any tips that you'd like to follow from this video, let me know what tips they are. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel for everything job related and how to get the job that you really want and pass those interviews. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.